Hello everyone, this is Andrea with Nutrition Commission. So today again I want to talk about food, how to choose healthier food labels, what to look for, what to avoid. And I'm just going to jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing that we want to look for when we're trying to choose a healthy product that it comes in a box or it could be a condiment or anything like that is, number one, I'm looking for organic. Okay, USDA certified organic. And why is that? Because genetically modified products that are not grown organically could, and it's kind of morbid to think, but those crops could be grown using even sewage sludge. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all the details there, but when we're buying conventional produce or conventional foods, they are also using genetically modified ingredients or grains or produce, and that means that somewhere in a scientist they're taking the actual seed and they're manipulating it to make it more resistant to herbicides and pesticides. So when they're having to spray the crops, to prepare for harvest, all of the bugs and the weeds die, but the produce is still there, making it easier to harvest, to pluck out of the ground, pull down from the trees, or whatever the case may be. So when you're eating non-organic foods, your body does not know how to recognize it. Okay, so it really doesn't know how to digest it because it's seen as a foreign object. It's not natural. Okay, so number one, always choosing organic, even if it's a little bit more expensive. I'm going to challenge us to find a way to budget that in because it is important. Yes, you can always select, make trade-offs, and things like that, but most likely it's the better alternative. And there's several things you can do, buying on Thrive Market. There's several outlets now that can offer discounted pricing for a lot of these healthier pantry items. But number one, yep, always got to buy organic or do your best to buy it from time to time. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a little prop that I have, and this is my Primal Kitchen avocado mayo, and I'm going to use this kind of as an example about what I'm talking about when we're choosing a healthier ingredient or healthier product that comes in a jar or a box. So the first thing we want to always look for is the serving size, okay, because everything that's on the panel here refers to that serving size. So in this case, it's saying there are 24 servings and a serving size is a tablespoon. So everything I look at now on that label refers to that serving size. 1 tablespoon means that I have 100 calories, okay? And then I'm looking at the fat. I'm predominantly looking at carbs, and I'll explain why. Sugars, and also fiber, and of course the fat. So those are the things that I'm always drawn to right away. So when we're looking at the fat, okay, we don't want to eat too much fat, obviously. So, we're looking at, 10 to 15 grams. We're trying to avoid all trans fat. So if you see any product that actually has a number in the trans fat, we want to avoid that because trans fats are extremely detrimental to our health. We look at dietary fiber, and we also look at sugar, okay? We want to always have some sort of fiber in the food. Traditionally, we want to look for a minimum of 3 grams of fiber. Preferable would be 5 and higher, okay? Because every time we eat that product, if it has a good source of protein and fiber, it's going to slow that absorption rate into the body. And as we talked about last week, I talked about those blood sugar spikes. If we have fiber and we have good amount of protein, it's going to stabilize that food, steady blood sugar. It's going to be metabolized a much easier, stable way in the body from a sugar spike and a drop, okay? So we always want to look for at least 3 grams minimum of fiber in the product, which would be preferable. Desirable, at least 5 and higher. The second thing I always look for is also going to be the protein. I'm always looking for, again, 3 to 5 grams of protein. 5 and higher is always preferred. again, to stabilize that blood sugar when we eat that particular food. Sugars, I always want my sugars to be less than 5 grams, okay? Then the next thing that I look for is we want to look at the ingredient list itself. And so when we look at an ingredient list, we want the food to have the least amount of ingredients as possible. That is the signal right there that it's not being chemically, altered. There are foods that we can actually recognize on that label. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, I think seven ingredients on this label. First ingredient is the most, okay? So the first ingredient means that it's the most in the product itself. So it goes most to least amount in order of the ingredient list, by the way. Avocado oil, organic eggs, organic egg yolks, organic vinegar, sea salt, organic rosemary extract, and contains eggs, obviously. So that is a very clean ingredient list, and it has very few ingredients, and they're all recognizable, okay? So that's what we want to look for as well. Recognizable words, words that we can pronounce. We want it to be high in protein, high in fiber, and low in sugar, essentially, right? So what we want to avoid, however, is long list of ingredients. So usually greater than 10, we usually want to avoid those. And then there's going to be kind of those bad words, okay? And I'm actually going to upload a file to the group which give you kind of a reference sheet of foods that we should, or ingredients rather, we should never consume, okay? So let me just kind of give you a cheat sheet here. Definitely high fructose corn syrup. That these are basically chemicals that alter the brain composition. They alter our appetite regulating hormones. They spike the blood sugar. They create inflammation in the body. So we definitely don't want to eat them. Again, if we're eating them from time to time, it's not as, detrimental, but I personally avoid them, okay? So like the high fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated oils, trans fats, artificial colors. So anything with a number, red 40, those types of coloring agents, do not consume those. Those are actually carcinogenic, and they just really destroy your gut health, okay? So I'm going to leave you guys, like I said, I'm going to put a file up in the group, and I'll let you know when I do that. And it's just going to be kind of this dirty dozen of ingredients, what they do, the purpose of those ingredients, health effects, and also the foods that they're traditionally contained in. So you kind of get a flavor for, again, what we should not be consuming as part of any boxed processed food whatsoever, okay? Just also important to note that there can be multiple names for an ingredient, and the marketers have gotten very creative to hide the ingredients that they're using. So, for example, I might have had a sheet that was all the sugars that we could eat, or not could eat, but all the different names of sugar and what to look for. And I had a sheet up to 100 different names for just sugar alone, okay? And they're all sugar. It's not like it's a different ingredient, but that they've just gotten very creative. So those are the types of things that we don't spend our life going online trying to research different ingredients, but just know that, you might have been trained to look for an ingredient, but now they're on to us. So they've swapped it out now with another labeling name for the same ingredient, okay? So the other thing, again, just to be mindful of, different names, again, for the same ingredients that we want to avoid at all costs. I'm going to upload that file. So really, again, I just wanted to keep this short and brief so that you can get access to information succinctly today. Ultimately, we want to be very mindful when we select any processed food. Take the time to turn the product around and really just do a cursory glance. Again, is it organic? At the very least, non-GMO. Okay, so at least you're not eating genetically modified, what I like to call frankenfood, that your body can't even recognize and process as food really anyway. Okay, we want to look for the protein, the fats, the sugar, and the fiber, meeting those thresholds, which again, you can refer back to this to get those numbers again. We want to look for the shortest amount of ingredients in the label. Less than 10 is desirable. Words we can pronounce. And then again, anything that has the dirty dozen of ingredients, the trans fats, hydrogenated oils, artificial colors and flavorings, please don't ingest those. Those, just like I said, wreak havoc on the gut, and they actually alter our appetite hormones and chemistry in the body. Okay, so I hope that this helps you. Again, if you weren't able to join today, that's fine. Any comments or questions after reviewing this and perhaps the replay, just drop them in the comment box and I'll be sure to get back to you. And then again, when I upload the dirty dozen ingredients, kind of the do not eat, do not ingest these, you'll have that accessible to you in the file folder. So this was it today. I promise I try to keep it short and sweet today. If you have any other comments, questions, again, you know where to find me. And until next time, all my best, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.